Hey Science YouTube! I hate to tell you this, but we have a problem.
What's that then? Feminism? Destroying the West? Women's entitlement? And better privileges than men? Destroying the West? Yeah, we've had that problem for a long, long time and it's getting worse. I hope you're going to talk about that in a really scientific way.
Where to begin?
Women's suffrage with no responsibility. Women's sexual reproductive rights where men have got zero. Do you want me to carry on? I hope you're going to be talking about feminism and how it's destroying the West.
How about...
First wave, second wave, third wave, all on the same city she of feminism, right? Women's privileges, women's gynocentrism, and everybody else's as well, men's. And now we've got politicised sex, and that's you, the sex that's politicised. Or if you like, we'll use the term gender, whichever gender you possibly want to equate that you are this second. But yes, we could start with first wave and how shit that was for men, and second wave, same again, and third wave. And it's getting worse for men and boys. But hey, I bet you're going to be talking about that, aren't you?
with this? Or with this? I'm just curious, what about me says I'm looking for fashion advice from a middle-aged man on the internet?
How do you know it's a middle-aged man on the internet? It could be a transgendered midget dwarf with intersectionality feminism. I don't know, could be. But what if it was Chad giving you advice? Hey? Chad, the guy of your fucking dreams. I wonder if that would be different. I don't know. Who knows?
I don't know. Wait. Silly of me. I forgot. It's not about me. It's about you. I'm so tired. Okay, let's start really small, really basic, because this is a layered issue.
What, so we're going to start really small? We're going to talk about your brain. And the layered issue, that's possibly because you're wearing lots of layers and you've got like lots of fat layers as well. Oh shit, sorry. You didn't want any advice off middle-aged men. I'm not giving you advice. I'm just making an observation.
And we'll work our way up. Just like any media professional, I do of course give some consideration to what kind of makeup and clothes I wear when on camera. What's the lighting gonna be like? What color is the background? What's gonna make it easiest to wear a mic clip here and a mic pack somewhere around my waist, making sure I don't have any obvious or distracting branding on my clothing.
Sorry darling, but your fashion sense is shit. What's with the tigers? Sex kitten? Ooh, them dungarees, fucking fantastic. Doesn't say lesbian at all.
So despite what you may think of my outfit, I have in fact chosen it rather carefully.
Well done! So your mother didn't dress you today, or your father, if you have one. You've chosen what you wanted to wear? Wow. Brilliant. You're so amazingly intellectual. So scientific.
And outside of those more practical considerations, my outfit, my makeup, my hair, my glasses are reflective of what I'm comfortable in, what my style is, what makes me happy, and what makes me feel like myself. But really, I shouldn't have to justify any of this to you. We shouldn't even be having this part of the conversation because you're recommending something for me to wear because it's what you want to see. Like I'm some kind of paper doll for your viewing pleasure.
Put it this way, it's not a pleasure to one, hear you, or see you. It's an absolute nightmare. And there's a lot of you about, you know, feminists and shit. And as for being a paper doll, whatever that is, I think there was some paper mache dolls made, yes. But maybe they're just trying to chat you up. Or trying to chat you down, or troll the fuck out of you.
Huh. Now, if your first thought was,
oh, well, Mary must be so sad because they're saying she's ugly.
Or,
now these are already sensitive, their opinion doesn't matter.
then you have unfortunately completely missed the point. Because I also receive comments like this, or this, or these. And I feel the same way about them because they're part of the same problem, which is also behind comments like these, which are just plain misogyny, and comments like these, which are sexual harassment. All of these comments are varying degrees of objectification.
Or some sad men and women who may be trying to give you a compliment, maybe trying to troll you, maybe trying to get your snowflake fucking melted. And it looks as if it's worked. If I was you, I'd probably dress better. But if I were you, I wouldn't take any notice and just stay on the point that you want to make. If it's about society, instead of making a political point that all men are fucking basically shitbags, especially middle-aged men who may be a fiction in your mind. And you're just projecting on people, but we can't say, you know, you've got any hatred, you've got any misandry. But we'll talk about this sexual objectification. You're now going to tell us what objectification is, aren't you? Because you know everything, and you know how to look into a dictionary and come out with the dictionary definition. And obviously you're going to frame it any which way suits your political anti-male, anti-boy, I'm a fucking feminist, women are supreme, blah 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 blah.
Which literally means to degrade to the status of a mere object.
Now, does this mean that you have to be worried that you are never going to be able to tell anybody you find them attractive again without being worried that they're going to take offense? No. As long as we can all acknowledge that appearance is what women in this society often get the most praise or degradation for, we can understand and work within that framework to behave properly.
So, women, mainly, according to you, get judged on what they wear. I've got like lots of expensive suits. I like wearing expensive suits. And I could just go to the local supermarket and wear my expensive suit. And people would think I might be a businessman. And obviously women, that would get quite a lot of women wet. If I was a Chad, definitely. So they're judging me on my status, wealth, just on that suit alone, you know. And then I've got lots of expensive watches, so they'll be eyeing up the watch. They'll be looking at my shoes. My shoes are expensive, so. And that's just for me wearing a suit. So they've already got an idea how much I earn, what I do, and so it's just women, yeah. So if I was in shitty overalls with a high vis on, Bumf. That's a whole different ball game. Again. So I don't think it's just women who get remarked on their appearance. And I mean, quite a lot of men get called neckbeard, fucking basement dweller, fucking this, that and the other, just because they're wearing a shitty t-shirt, or what people say is a shitty t-shirt. To me, it's just a fucking t-shirt, you know what I mean? It's not what makes the man, or the woman for that matter. By the way, I think you look quite geeky, and I'd fuck you with the garb you're wearing now, and then you'd open your mouth, and then that would be a complete turn off, and then we wouldn't be friends because you're a fucking feminist arsehole.
Take a minute to stop and think. You're a smart person. Is this the only thing that you've ever complimented this person for? Is it the first thing you always mention when you talk to or about that person? Have you ever mentioned that anything else about them is valuable to you?
So you already assume that the people, the audience that you're talking to is intelligent, smart, as you put it. So who are you to assume that? Because quite a lot of people are not that smart, and it depends. You've got social intelligence, and then you've got academic intelligence, and then various, you know, on different scales of what really is intelligence. IQ, intelligence quota, and that can be culturally specific, even though they tried to get rid of all that. I just think you're so condescending to people. You're a smart person. Oh, thanks. How the fuck do you know?
For example, I love comments like this that tell me they really loved the video, they thought the content was interesting, they thought I did a good job. Oh, and by the way, your shirt's really cool. There's no problem with that at all.
I do hope it goes without saying that all of this that we're talking about obviously does not apply to every man watching.
And there is your agenda. You just don't like men. Who's saying all these, who's giving you these comments and compliments and maybe creepy fucking get your tits out? By the way, get your tits out, make me a sandwich. Are men. Because quite a lot of women act like men online when they don't like women, and women are bitchy. But so am I. I fucking hate your jumper. It reminds me of a fucking, I don't know, a gay march. You know? Not that I've got anything wrong with gay people, I just don't like them gay marches because they have their arse hanging out or the tits fucking hanging out fucking in front of children, and I don't think it's right, and they pretend to do fucking sex and shit like that, and I don't want that in my street because it's my street as well. And the reason why they took the rainbow flag, it was to piss off Christians, right? That was the real thing behind it. Yes, it's an occult thing like feminism is, right? Because quite a lot of gay people just can't be arsed with gay march prides. They just want to be fucking left alone and just get on with their lives. They're not interested in all this gay rights, women's rights, because they realise it's all bullshit. Right? And it's a fucking horrible jumper. And by the way, you look really good without makeup. But it's your personality that you need to work on, girl.
Yes, the vast majority of my viewership on my personal channel is male, but the vast majority of the people who choose to participate in the comments do so very supportively and positively and constructively. And I can't thank you enough for being that kind of community. It's so awesome. Of course, with a channel like Seeker, where I do a lot of my other work and where there's a much larger audience, we're gonna have a higher proportion of people conducting themselves badly. That's just numbers. And hopefully we can recognize that even though we may not be directly perpetrating the bad stuff, it is collectively our problem.
No shit, Ed. It's your problem. It is your problem. You're getting the emotions. They're just saying dumb shit, if you like. Some are giving you a genuine compliment. Some want to stick it in you. Some want to lick you to death if they're fucking lesbian or bisexual. But you have the problem with this. And no matter how you want me to frame it and be a good boy, you've still got the problem.
Let's take it to the street for a second. According to a 2014 study, 65% of women have experienced street harassment, or unwanted interaction in public spaces between strangers that are motivated by a person's actual or perceived gender, sexual orientation, or gender. Expression. Which is exactly what this would be if someone said it to me on the street, but, you know, because of the modern miracle that is technology, you can now yell it at me on the internet. Now, maybe you're yelling at your screen.
But Marion, those comments are just compliments. They're nice comments.
This same survey found that instead of feeling complimented or flattered, IRL street harassment made women feel angry, annoyed, nervous, and disgusted. These comments, whether in real life or on the internet, make us feel unsafe.
I'm so sorry that it makes you feel unsafe. Must be really scary for you. Yep, men get raped more in the USA. It must be really scary for you. Men get murdered more all over the world. It must be really scary for you. These nasty, nasty comments or compliments or whatever the subjective fees that you've got for them. I'm sorry that you feel unsafe. I mean, baby boys get their little foreskins chopped off, and it's the most done operation. They even call it circumcision and not male male genital mutilation. But in the Western world, you're protected from that female genital mutilation, and that's what it is. It's mutilation, and I'm glad it's made illegal for women in most of the Western countries. But if you're a boy, nah. I think there's only 2 countries that's outlawed it. I think one's Iceland and one's Germany. And it doesn't seem to affect some sub-communities, if you like. You know, they'll do it anyway, because they just don't give a fuck about the integrity of baby boys. Or girls, for that matter. But at least there's prosecution, one in Britain, first ever, to a woman who did it to a little girl, a little baby girl, like you do, you know. So yeah, I'm so sorry about your fee-fees, but I'm not. I really don't give a fuck, because more men get harassed online, scientific fact, than all this shit that you're showing from feminist fucking, because it all come out and you're using the same statistics that got debunked, right? because it was an onslaught. Anita Sarkeesian and all the rest of them were like, me feels, women's and everything's. And then everybody said, hang on, let's have a scientific look at this. Links in the description, folks, if you want to read a couple of shit that men go through online. Because men get abused more, 75% more than women. And women's. And it was women who were abusing women more. But we'll not talk about that. We've got to make you angels. 24/7, 365 days a year. Because you're the main victims of fifis.
Not good about ourselves. There are men out there in the comments of the videos that I make about science who are really insisting on knowing my relationship status, my age, where I live. How am I supposed to feel safe putting videos out on the internet knowing that some men watch my videos just because of the way they feel about how I look? And that same feeling makes them feel entitled to personal details about my life for their own gratification.
Maybe, just maybe, they want a future with you. Just on that chance, the off chance of striking up a conversation and saying, I think you're beautiful, I think you're intelligent, I think... Obviously they're deluded as fuck, in my opinion. And they're heading for a hellstorm. And they should not do this. Because one, I don't think you're a genuinely nice person. Two, I don't think you're that intelligent. And three, holy shit, I would not have a beer with you.
But we have to talk about it because I'm not the only one, by a long shot. I was actually really inspired to make this video by a fellow science communicator, Dr. Sally LePage, who tweeted this.
It's just so bloody tiring. The constant drip of people telling you you're too fat, you're dressed wrong, you're f***able, you're not f***able. And then you wonder why more women don't teach science on YouTube, or why women have more mental health problems.
There was a professor who said, women are okay at science, but you can't, you know, upset the feelings because they're emotional. I think you're just proving that fact. And the point is this. If you've got mental problems from a few fucking comments off YouTube, I'm amazed that men are not fucking axe murdering every cunt on the planet. Because we get more abuse than you. Or are you saying men are stronger emotionally? As well as physically and, you know, temperamentally and... Or what? And she did say people. She didn't say men, like you. So I'll give her some accreditation for that. But at the end of the day, if you're suffering from bad comments and you've got lots of mental problems from that, I think you're already fucking mental.
Which honestly really just spoke to me. And someone, thank God, finally actually did a study on this so I can bring out some stats to quiet anyone who might want to say that personal anecdotes aren't reflective of reality. A media analysis study published in 2018 looked at 23,000 comments left on science YouTube channels and found that women get over 4 times as many comments on their appearance. Male hosts received almost no comments that were deemed sexist or sexual, while around 3% of the comments on female-hosted videos were sexist.
Most of these studies are done by feminists, and if it's only 3% of comments are sexist, it depends who and what they are thinking that is sexist. I mean, just looking at a woman is sexist now. According to a lot of media and all the rest of it. I mean, if I'm on a train and I'm allegedly manspreading because somebody in their tiny, small pea brain thinks that because of the size of me and I'm male and I have my legs just open a bit too wide because that's what they think, then I'm obviously identifying with the tyrannical patriarchy and I want to rape the train! Or pull a train on mainly her, or some male fucking feminist soy boy. Go fuck yourself.
Or sexual. And while these numbers may seem small, there's no denying that there's a significant gender discrepancy in the kinds of attention that women receive online in STEM spaces. And that really can take a toll on one's motivation.
When I receive those comments, and boy do I receive a lot of comments on my appearance and just generally sexualizing me, it not only makes the process of making a YouTube video less enjoyable, it means that it's something that normally when you would look forward to going to YouTube or making a video, it's now tinged with this, oh, but you know that there's going to be some asshole that is commenting on your appearance or sexualizing you in some way. And that's not fun. But also, over time, it eats away at your self-esteem and your mental health. And when your mental health is suffering, it's incredibly difficult to be creative. And YouTube is a creative industry. And so it just makes the whole job not only less enjoyable, just harder to do.
And the authors of this study do think there could be a correlation between this kind of feedback environment and the prevalence of female science YouTube hosts.
Look, one of my favourite scientists of all time was a woman. And she wasn't just a scientist, and a very high IQ woman at that. She was an actress, and not only was she drop dead fuckable gorgeous, she was highly intelligent, and I don't think she was a feminist. Her name was Hedy Lamarr. Now, if she was alive today and she was still one of the most beautiful scientists that's ever lived, and the most fuckable actresses, by the way, one of the most fuckable actresses, I think Hedy would not be giving a fuck. She just did it. Scientist, inventor, actress. She lived, she died, she had a fucking good life. Because she went for it. If you're suffering from bad comment syndrome, get fucking over it. And the reason why there may be not many fucking women YouTube commenters on STEM is because there's not many women who go into STEM fields. If there was, we probably would get a whole lot of glut of women telling men how shit we are, like you are doing, and how we should frame things and all this crap, not mentioning the other side of the argument, because that's the way you feminists frame it. Now I'm going to stop the video here. I am fucking sick to the back teeth of women like you. I don't give a fuck what you look like, but I do give a fuck what you're saying. And this is why I'm making this video. And I don't care if it fucking hurts your fifis, any other woman's fifis, or any other male feminists out there. You can go and shove your head where it belongs. And that's in some science books. Get it done. Stop complaining about some people who might want to fuck you or fancy you. Right? Ignore the comments. You might not like to read them. I don't like to read fucking children being blown up because of the so-called leaders that lots of people vote for are working for the banks and the real people who own everything. It really makes me depressed. It does. It really fucks me right off. But I know there's nothing I can do about it. Because voting doesn't mean jack shit. There's still going to be war. Because this is the insanity that we live in. So you've just got to pick the wheat from the chaff. That's all. You don't need to tell me we have a problem, Houston. Because it's you who has the problem. You can talk about how you feel about it, that's fine, or think about it, that's also fine. But you're not going to fucking stop it. You can talk till you're blue in the face. Men are always going to fancy you, and some women are always going to be bitchy, or fancy you. And now, like you say, technology has given the ability of people to be relatively anonymous. So you don't know who the fuck really you're talking to. And you disparage middle-aged men, and you don't even know it's middle-aged men. How condescending are you? Anyway, I'll put the link to your full bullshit video. There's only a couple of minutes left of you talking absolute verbal diarrhea. But I just can't be arsed. Just carry on, get your head in the books, and fucking do science if you want.